Hi everybody, ArmyP here for eXplorminate.net, and welcome back to our Let's Play Part 2 of Stellaris with the expansion Utopia installed and the accompanying patch 1.5 nickname Banks. Now, all the talking's done. Previous episode was all about thanking our Patreon supporters and our eXplorminators by helping make this going to be the best Let's Play we could possibly make it, with some pretty interesting enemy empires that we're going to run into. I really hope that we end up running into one or two of them specifically. But that being said, we're going to dive right into the mechanics that have changed the beginning of this game. So you'll notice here that we've got our research to pick. This is pretty standard from patch 1.4, but what you're going to notice is if I pick the society research tree, I don't have a colony ship here because in Utopia patch 1.5, I shouldn't say Utopia, but in patch 1.5 they decided to make that a tech that you automatically get right off the bat, which changes drastically how we're going to approach our different beginning research trees and how we're going to actually decide if we're going to colonize hard and fast, or we're going to take our time and try to build up our research in Unity. Which is a great segue, by the way, to talk about the brand new mechanic and brand new resource called Unity. Now, if I click on the Unity icon here in the toolbar up ahead, you'll see that I've got 7 different traditions trees. Now, these trees are very much reminiscent of a civics, something of that nature. Something, if you've played a civilization game in the last, I don't know, 6 years, maybe even 8, you'll notice that these are awfully familiar. So what happens is you build up Unity, and then you spend the Unity points by adopting some of these trees. And what happens is, as you adopt each one of them, once you complete and get to the very end, you open up an Ascension perk, and the Ascension perk has 8 different slots. These Ascension perks are exclusive to Utopia, and they are ridiculously powerful. And this is where you're going to unlock things at the very end of the game, like the Shroud, which we're going to be going for in this game. Also, Dyson Sphere, the Ring World, the Subspace Sensor Array, the giant research station, habitats, all unlocked through your Ascension perks. So this is kind of like the unlock to Utopia for the most part. Just going to spend a quick minute here talking about the 7 different trees. So expansion is, as it sounds, it's pretty, there's no irony here. It's based on trying to expand as fast as you can. So you'll notice here as I unlock the expansion, or I adopt it, each new colony starts with an additional pop. That's huge. So instead of starting with one pop growing, you have basically your capital has 1 pop, you have an additional pop fully grown, and then you have 1 growing, which really helps out, to get those first couple colonies flourishing right off the bat. So that's just from unlocking it. Then if you go deeper into the tree, you'll see that it basically gives you bonuses in colonization fever, so that each new capital building produces an additional Unity point. Basically, this does reduces the cost of influence for making your frontier outposts and colony ships. So essentially, if you were to colonize outside of your borders by a significant amount, it could cost 80, 90, 100 influence. In this case, it's down to 50. And I'm not going to go through each one, but I'm just going to give you a basic overview. So expansion's pretty self-explanatory. Now, domination is imposing the will on the others. And it really has to do with a lot about dealing with subjugates, dealing with protectorates, and dealing with your vassals. Each one of these are basically going to give you a bonus to either integrating them for less time and for less influence. And you're also going to have every vassal is going to give you a little bit of bonus. So here you can see fleet levies. Every vassal increases your navy capacity by the amount equal to 20% of their own. So if you're going to you're going to deal with a lot of vassals, domination's where you're at. Prosperity is pretty self-explanatory. Building mining stations reduces the cost at 33% by disadopting them, and this is all about getting your economy running about as efficient as you possibly can. You can unlock private colony ships. You'll notice that as I'm going through this, and I'll go through it a little bit when I start to unlock it, that they've transferred some of the actual tech out of the actual tech tree and put it into the traditions tree. Like the first one here is unlocking private colony ships. That's great. Being able to buy a colony ship for, you know, for power versus having to do it for minerals is a big bonus. Okay, so harmony is all dealing with basically the bonuses of keeping your population happy, you know, governing ethics, keeping everybody basically the same as your governing ethics, keeping them happy, being defensive. And you can see here the Utopian Dream unlocks the Paradise Dome. That used to be a tech, now it's in the actual harmony tree. Supremacy. The future of the galaxy belongs to those who are strong enough to seize it. This would be something that you would have on a military or a xenophobic type ethic. Some of these bonuses: border range increases by 20%, you know, shipbuilding speed by 15, unity output increased by 10% per neighboring rivals. So there's some interesting choices here in the supremacy, but if you're going out for pure domination, supremacy is where you're at. Diplomacy, basically diplomatic influence costs reduced by 50%, and this is where you're going to build the Federation. You'll notice that has also been taken out of the tech tree. It's now the Federation is used under the diplomacy traditions tree, and you need to build that, and then you can start your own Federation. And then finally, discovery. This is basically everything to do with your research of your entire empire. So you're going to be using that to reduce the cost of building stations. You're going to, it's going to tie in directly with your survey ships. If they're going to be surveying a planet, you can see here the very first one, to boldly go where no one has gone before, Mr. Picard. Anomaly fail risk reduced by 10%, and anomaly discovery chance increased by 15%. So this would be something that would be very interesting to take at this point in the game, because of course you want to maximize getting those anomalies, because those can be huge treasures at the early game. Or harmony. It all depends on which way we're going to go, and we're going to decide that by scouting around and seeing what is out there. So standard fare apply. I'm going to take one of my fleet. I'm going to split it in half, and I'm just going to create a nice little pattern here. See what's in and around me. Hopefully we don't have any baddies right super close to us. And we're going to do the same thing with our other military fleet, and hope that we don't run right into some space Nebas or pirate ship or something like that. Oh. Another thing I'm going to focus your attention here while you're just watching me making clicking lines is that on the upper right hand part of the screen, you're going to notice that there's an additional, right here where my cursor is, it looks like a pause button, next button, and a music player properties. So basically they've added 5 new songs for Utopia, and they're all good, although I personally think that the album for the songs that came out for Leviathan were a little bit better, but don't get me wrong, it's still good. But if I want to, and I've heard this song, way too many times, I hit next. Damn, next song, I'm digging it. So that's a cool little addition right into the game. Okay, let's see what our Army P's Alberta Prime. If you're a Canadian, you'll know exactly what that's all about. Although, ironically, I don't eat anybody in this game. Okay, so it looks like we've got... I'm going to focus right here into another one of these lovely changes that have occurred in patch 1.5, and that is global food. You can see here that I've got 100 food stored, and I'm gaining 4 a month. This ends up being very, very powerful later on, because what happens is you can create huge farm planets that basically just create nothing but the juiciest of the juice, and you can focus so heavily your planets to just monsters of whatever resource that you're trying to extract or research that you're trying to engage on. Because I created I played a full game before this, so if it sounds like I'm knowing what I'm talking about, it's only slightly, because it's true. I ended up creating 2 planets that were entirely 100% research based, and just enough to keep the power going for each one of them, and then I had huge bonuses for my happiness at the time. And it was ridiculous, because I didn't have to worry about any type of food. All the food was being transported from off planet. So it's a really cool mechanic, but you have to be careful, because my gosh, if I would have lost that food planet, I would have been in trouble. So That being said, it looks like we've got 4 food. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm plus 4 food, and I'm generating 4 food, it seems like a waste. So I'm actually going to take this guy and put him right onto my engineering research, because I want to have research before anything like that. And I've got 100 months before I have to worry about, you know, getting any one of the pops back on there. And then I'm also going to do that here. Why not? I'm going to really try to jam up this engineering. Okay, so we're going to pick our first... I think I'm going to go for the sensors, our first physics research. I don't think we had anything here that... again, for biolab, because the other 2 choices don't really seem to matter very much. This is probably going to be deleted at one point, orbital hydroponic farms, considering how abundant and powerful food is. This is a total waste now, as far as I'm concerned. But biolab's the one choice out of the 3 that we're going to pick. And what do we got here? Engineering facility? No, I want more minerals. Now, if I scroll over our minerals here, you're going to notice that I have ship maintenance, and then I've got consumer goods. So I'm losing 2.8 minerals per month for my consumer goods by keeping my species happy. If I go into the species tree here, you can see I've got my P on, Army P on, get it? I'm going to have to thank some of the guys on eXplorminate forums for that one. You can hit set rights. This new window pops up. My citizenship. I'm full citizen because of my government's ethics. I can't put them to residence or anything like that, just because I don't have... I do believe it's because I am a diplomatic type government, so I can't put them to residence or castes, whatever the case may be. Or actually, I don't know if you can actually do that to your very first starting race. Probably not. Anyway, here's what we're going to looking at. It looks at this is what I was speaking about earlier. We got different living conditions. You can see here I got social welfare, which is the pop effects are plus 10% to my happiness, and the consumer goods increases by 1.5 minerals per pop. So you can take that into account with my decent living conditions, which the Empire is currently on. You can see here my consumer goods use is at 1 per pop. So I don't know if it's per pop or how it basically goes down, because you can see it's just, it's plus 1, but I've got probably 8 pops, but I'm only taking up 2.8 units. Oh, I got 8 units, 2.8. So whatever that math ends up being. Basically, it's just a sliding rail. It's giving you like a baseline. They're saying this is what you have for decent pops, so take that and times it by 50%. So I'm probably looking at 3.4 if I wanted to change that. That being said, you can actually dig that down if you're running out of resources when it comes to minerals, and you can have it impoverished, but unfortunately it has a negative 10% to your happiness. And you can do lots of different things here. Colonization rights, you can allow them full military service or limited population controls, but because we're a fancy dancy federation building loving race, we're not going to be able to dive into those, and migration controls. And of course at the bottom here we got the slavery type and the purge type, which unfortunately well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, the Patreon supporters have spoken, but these would be 2 options that you can take if you're a xenophobe or a government type that was a dictatorship that basically allowed both slavery and purging, and there's lots of different options there. So I suggest that once you guys pick this up, check that out, because that's where you could turn all of you could potentially turn them all into the Empire or the aliens into food. Okay, so science ship, we're going to survey our home system and see if we got any goodies. So here we are, we're dancing. So that being said, I'm building 2 Unity right now. It's going to take me 32 months to unlock my first tradition, and I'm only getting the Unity, I do believe, because I got a base, General RVP. I actually have, oh that's cool, I have a stat. Edict cost? Civics, consumer goods, no, it's fine. One thing you're going to notice when you're playing this game for the very first time, as you start to get out of the early game and into the mid game, is that without a shadow of a doubt, they have done something to elongate the early game of Stellaris. And there's a couple ways I think that they've done that, and I think the reason is they've dictated the pacing a little bit more because of the traditions tree. And the reason that they probably did that, just playing with my food here because I know it's going down pretty quick, and the reason they did that was because of the consumer goods, basically having your population dig into your monthly allotted amount of minerals really does make it so that you have to pay a lot of attention to where you're spending your resources. Like, I played this game right into the end of a complete run through before I decided to make this Let's Play, and I was shocked at, by the very end of the game, just how I was making decisions about what to do with my minerals very carefully. I didn't have this abundance of 16,000 sitting doing nothing in my stores as I, watched the clicker turn over. Every time I was that deep into the game, I had something to spend it on, and oftentimes my planets would kind of go undeveloped a little bit. So just to notice, you're gonna, I think it actually jarred me a little bit when I first played it, but then as I got to the late game, I was like, oh, this makes more sense. But it actually kind of adds a little bit more suspense, because you don't know if you should be giving it to a sector, which, by the way, we're not going to get to sectors on this video just because of the pacing, but sectors are way, way better than they were before. Like, I'm talking heads and shoulders better. Perfect? No. Heads and shoulders better? Just like the shampoo, baby. Okay, it looks like we've got an ancient structure, so it looks like an structure has just been detected. This is the Agentic Fortress, which is, I do believe, part of Leviathan's. It's something we're going to avoid because we can't do anything about it until we get a level 5 scientist, which we don't have. So we've detected some type of utterly massive space station drifting quietly on the edge of the Kondori system. Wow. We'll keep an eye out on that. That's actually not too far from our border. Looks like we've got some enigmatic spacefarers. What do we got there? Was there an actual fortress there, or it must have been something else? Oh, no, down here. What do we got? Oh, wow. Look at this. Our first contact, and we are very close. Very, very close. I really hope that they're nice people. Construction's complete at my mining facility, and we also found what looks like a anomaly. So we have no risk of failing the anomaly. It's only a level 1. And they've reworked this, and I'm not entirely sure what the mechanics are, but they don't seem as nearly as wonky. Looks like we've got another alien. What do we find here? Crystals. That's not good, because I'm about to... Oh, I just lost my fleet. That's not good. So everybody, just when you thought things were going well, looks like we have found some crystalline entities just north of our location, and I lost my my meager fleet while we notice that our neighbor right here is just loving life. Great, great, great. Oh, the Army P has started off brilliantly so far. Okay, so we've got yet another Delta type alien. What do we have here? Secrets at the doorstep. An anomaly on the planet Lasfagavan shelter shows that traces of another interstellar travel. A weak faster-than-light trail shows that someone was here long ago, maybe watching our planet for potential allies. It's too diminished to trace any further. We should continue to investigate. These sorts of anomalies, whatever the... We should investigate these sorts of anomalies whenever we get the chance. It will mostly assured grant us new knowledge and technology. Oh wow. We have dangerous space. We are around dangerous people in dangerous space. I'm a little bit worried. Okay, so our situation log, looks like I don't want to do anything like that because I would much rather have my new biolab. Okay, looks like we've got an alpine world. I'm just trying to look about where we probably should colonize first. Okay, what do we got here? Right next door, what do we got? A mining facility, mining drones. Look at that, it's right in my border. I did not luck out at all. Let's get our food back up to where it should be. +4, okay, that's good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get that guy building some minerals. Shouldn't be building research this early anyway. That's kind of a new mistake, but I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, we're going to build this survey, or this mining facility for this new minerals that we want. And, oh, looks like we got a research station. So, it looks like we got 2 alpine words. Wow, that's actually not too bad at all. A 16 and a 21 right next to each other. And in the same sector, so that, in the same solar system, so that's only going to count as 1. That's actually not a bad bonus. And we got another alpine wood. Wow. Even though we've got tons of enemies all around us, at least kind of lucked out when it came to this. I think what we're going to do, though, is I think we're going to focus on getting Brianna 3, this system right here that I'm kind of showing off. The reason is because I really want to be able to herd him off. Even though he could be a potential ally, I don't know what's over here, and if we've got nothing here, we might be in a bit of trouble for when it comes to being boxed in this early. So I think that's what we're going to do, unless something else crazy. So I actually think as soon as the science ship is done, we're going to warp right to here, and I'm going to start construction on my first colony ship. Oh, okay, so we have communications have been established, and it's with the Saigang Union. Get some diplomatic points. Holy my god, that is a terrible looking human, or humanoid. Can you imagine just meeting that for first contact? Well, I mean, why couldn't we just meet something a little cuter, like a giant ball of fuzz with 2 eyeballs, for the love of God? Alright, so it looks like the Saigon Union's a military commissariat, and basically he's military, but he is fanatic, egalitarian, so hopefully we can get to go and know each other. I'm guessing that he doesn't like us because, oh, this graphics change. You notice here it's almost like it's got a bar at the bottom, when it's almost like it's an alien newsfeed. I do believe the reason he doesn't like us is probably because, yeah, new contact, and he doesn't like because I'm in an oligarchy. Oh, that's interesting. I thought for sure it was because it was spiritualist. Well, isn't that interesting? So he has closed the borders and changed his shirt. By the way, it doesn't make your face look any prettier. Okay. And my science ship. Now that we know that they're not very nice guys, I think what we're going to do is start our colonization very rapidly as we kind of wrap up this episode. I'm probably going to take this Brianna. I want to take that right off his options right away. I'm going to start scouting to the east as you're kind of looking at the map right now, and see if there's any other juicy targets. And then I think what we'll do is we'll end up backfilling and getting this lovely system here that's got the 2 alpine planets in it. For the most part, not too bad. So anyway, in this episode, just kind of recapping very quickly, we got to see the new resource Unity. We got to see the traditions trees. Haven't got the chance to see the perks yet. Talked a little bit about some of the changes that have occurred, and we've already got our first contact, although slightly disappointed that it's not one of the pre-made ones some of the eXplorminators made up, but you know what, it's still early game. Okay everybody, this has been Army P for eXplorminate.net. Really appreciate you guys watching. If you got any comments or questions, throw it into the comment section below, and I'll definitely answer them for you as quickly as I can. And the next episode, we're going to probably start the phase that I like the most, which is hardcore expansion, and hopefully not taking off the Saigon Union. This has been Army P for eXplorminate.net. I'll see you in episode 3.